Hey, this is Matt from Game Over. Normally, when we film, we use an A camera and a B camera, but this week the footage pulled from our A camera was completely unusable due to circumstances out of our control. As such, this discussion will only use footage from our B camera. Next week, everything will be back to normal. Apologies for the jerky edits. Dan, Aaron and Matt.
Hello, welcome to another Game Overcast. I'm Dan.
I'm also Dan.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Aaron.
Today we want to discuss the merits of Netflix versus TV. I'll go first on my point.
Yes.
When Netflix was first around, a thing.
When was it? 5 years ago?
Oh, Christ.
Something like
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, took over Love Film and their adverts for that.
that? We should have researched this really.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
You can slag us off later on.
People sort of said it's going to kill TV because no one's going to want to schedule times so watch it when you can watch it whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And for a time it looked like it was going to go that way. It was kind of cool to get TV shows in one bundle. And I know you're going to talk about this later, so I won't go too much into it, but just getting all in one go and having essentially a box set handed to you, every couple of months of a new show, was a novelty. And I still think it's cool. And there was a point where it looked like, okay, no one's going to watch TV anymore, because why would you? And I think recently TV sort of brought back the water cooler moments, the moments where... So what Netflix doesn't have is, it doesn't have your Game of Thrones, and X-Files, and Twin Peaks, which all of those shows I'm surprised are not on Netflix, because they're new.
Hannibal
that's
as well.
The stuff that, and that's the stuff that Netflix have recently been snapping up.
Netflix have got money. I mean, it's recently come out that they're putting $3 billion into new programming. That's insane. That's almost as much as Disney paid for Star Wars.
But they're putting all of their money
wasn't
into
it?
originals, aren't they?
Yeah, original content.
Because assumably, from a financial point of view, you get more stuff. You get more money back for the stuff that you've made yourselves.
The returns are probably better, but it's as we've spoken about before, risks of original challenging content. And they're putting $3 billion into original content, which is great. I wish they'd do that with films, but they're not.
I agree that it's cool. I just don't like the being giving it all at once.
Well, this
that's like
is...
TV has over Netflix. I think TV will always have it over Netflix.
You can pace yourself, don't worry.
Yeah.
You can pace yourself, but you rob yourself
You can do, but
things. If you pace yourself, other people aren't.
That's exactly
you can't keep up with the conversation unless you sit there and binge the whole thing.
I think blitzing an entire TV series actually isn't a healthy viewing thing, because you're just going, and the next one.
Yeah.
So some of the...
You can't digest it.
Exactly. I mean, my issue with it, and I don't mean to be downer on everything, is that because you get everything all in one bundle, it robs you of your weekly conversation. When Game of Thrones, as you so rightly pointed out, is on, you watch it on a Monday, and you spend the next week, going over every detail and talking about it with people and going, where do I think it'll go?
Yeah.
Whereas with House of Cards, there's basically no conversation about it, because you just go watch the next one and then you get your answers. It's the same thing as trailers giving away too much, because you can just watch the next one and then you'll know. It's not a great method for me. And the other problem is, Breaking Bad is available on Netflix, but it isn't a Netflix show. I watched Breaking Bad. I watched about 3 episodes a week. I thought about it, and it's so detailed and so excellent that you need to give it time. If you just blitz an entire show, a friend of mine suggested I just, watch all of Sons of Anarchy, watch it in, a couple of weeks. No, because there are details, there are nuances that you will miss. You can't keep your own attention for 4, 5, 6 hours looking at every detail. You're going to tire yourself out. Just leave some time between episodes. House of Cards, Daredevil, Orange is the New Black, all of them come out at once, and subsequently you can only talk about the show after. Because that's the only point that everybody's on the same page.
Or at least in your kind of smaller community, let's say, you and your mates might watch it together, watch it at the same time, blah, blah, blah. That's who you talk with. Whereas, Game of Thrones in particular, that's a global debate. Everyone on the internet's going, oh, shit, man, is matey boy dead? Or what's going to happen next? What does this mean? And that is fantastic, but...
It gets you involved, because otherwise it's just otherwise all these shows are just happening to you.
Yeah, but... Netflix can do that, because with Breaking Bad, that final series they released, they did it in increments. They released Talking Bad, the discussion show in between, and everyone got excited. No one knew what was going to happen next. Everyone was talking about it again. That was global because of the delay. Yeah. And I think you do lose out on this sense of community almost when everything's just kind of splurged out all at once. Not to mention more, I say air quotes, proper shows, let's say your Game of Thrones, your Breaking Bad, House of Cards,
True
yada
Detective.
yada yada, True Detective. I think they deserve your respect. They shouldn't be just binge watch and you'd ending up just kind of going, oh, gotta do it, gotta watch the next one. Because then you're not on enough of a journey with them either. You're not thinking about it enough.
I mean, the fact that we call it binge watching, like, you wouldn't accept that with any other habit. We know that binge eating and binge drinking are a bad thing.
That's true.
And binge watching is just as bad. It doesn't engage you with the product. It just says, there it is.
Netflix encourages you to do that though, because after you got that timer, everyone's done it. You've gone, oh, I want to. Oh, fuck it, it's already started now. I may as well do the next one.
See, I don't actually have Netflix.
Yeah, when you finish it, it even skips the credits as well.
Yeah,
it just sort
it
of
goes
goes,
straight
10 seconds.
into
I'm just going to skip to the next one.
I mean, Netflix works, I guess, because it doesn't have adverts. Or not between.
Yeah, so that's the
ad breaks, rather.
That only cuts out like 11 minutes
Which
of an
is
hour.
fantastic.
That's a lot, though.
But it does increase your immersion as well. A point to make about perhaps the perceived increase in quality between Netflix and TV. I mean, I think we'd all accept, obviously with the few exceptions, Breaking Bad, True Detective, etc., the quality or certainly risk of the content on Netflix is higher. That you'll get generally darker shows. Let's say even Making a Murderer lately, you might struggle to have that on normal telly.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from the lack of ad breaks, because they're not having to pander
to advertisers
with making safe content that the masses are going to watch.
There is no watershed.
No, that too.
Anytime.
They don't have to pander to the advertisers. They've already got their subscribers. The TV license is paid. That's it. It's kind of tough shit. You're in for it now. So that gives them the license to experiment, which is a great thing. Right? You look at ITV.
They're just turning out crime shows all the time.
Yeah,
of the
you
same
get cheap
ilk.
ass shit. You get things like X Factor and whatnot. They're just there, the formula, time and time again, just to jam it in for the sponsors, because they know people are going to watch it, which is a shame, and it takes away the artistry, I think.
Interestingly, though, and it's something I've just thought of now, so don't blame me if it's not a fully conceived thought, that because Netflix is a service that you consciously buy into, we're possibly breeding a good type of viewer, because they are specifically choosing to watch what they want. And sure, people choose to watch things on TV, but Netflix isn't just on. You have to turn it on.
Yeah.
You can turn on TV and X Factor will be on and people go, I'll watch this. Never the case with Netflix. That is kind of only a good thing, because eventually, bit hopeful, but eventually the means will be just cutting out the shit stuff, because as Netflix is on the rise, and Netflix isn't home to X Factor and America's Got Talent or whatever, people will decreasingly watch those shows and increasingly watch the things they want. You were saying about the general ballsiness of the shows. Jessica Jones, the main villain in it, is a serial rapist. I haven't even seen it, played by David Tennant, but
he's such a dark character.
And you wouldn't get that with the Marvel films.
Did you just glitch out?
Yeah, I did. But you wouldn't get that, it's good there's less compromise.
We would love to see that kind of discerning viewer reflected in media as a wider whole. Hopefully, the guys who are in charge of the really massive companies in film and TV will look at what's happening with Netflix, see, shit, these grittier shows are getting a large audience. We don't have to make this shit to guarantee it. Let's make something better.
This has never happened before. Like, we've got nothing to go on. This is uncharted waters. Right, do we hope that Netflix is the future of TV watching?
Yes.
Do we actually want that?
I believe there can be two separate entities, because TV is never gonna... Netflix is never gonna outpace TV, because adverts, like, we know from working in a cinema how much money we get off adverts before a movie. So adverts in between of an episode that's like an hour and you've got, 23 adverts in that.
Unless they end up putting adverts in Netflix.
If they put adverts in Netflix...
Because we pay for it, I don't think they
there
can.
might be like a Prime and Bronze and Silver membership, that type of thing. And one will be... Crunchyroll will do it. You can watch anything, but if you go up to Prime, you get access to more stuff, and adverts just don't exist. And everything goes into HD. And I can't see Netflix doing that since they're... If you're going to shot billions into like the next year of your original content, you've crunched the numbers. You know that your 3 new Marvel series are going to make mad money. You know your 2 Adam Sandler movies are going to make mad money, but they're going to be mediocre.
The big question is, can the current models of Netflix and TV exist in the same universe, or is Netflix essentially going to just dominate? Is it going to absorb telly?
I don't think it will, crucially because who do you know that doesn't have a TV? Like, basically no one. Who do you know that doesn't have Netflix? A lot of people. Like
I
you've
know
really got to choose that
You now
Netflix.
A lot of
can
people
get like
who-
Netflix on your TV.
Exactly.
Now. It's not just on your laptop anymore.
That-
I have a lot of
true.
people have a telly, but they don't
Yeah.
have Sky or not even a TV license. It's
They just
there
hook up to
for
Netflix.
the
Available on
PlayStation
PS4.
or for Netflix or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, most TVs now have in there built in. You just hit a button on your remote. It says
Yeah,
Netflix.
you can get smart
true.
TVs later. They can coexist. When Game of Thrones ends in 2 seasons,
Yeah.
whatever, something else will take the mantle. Like literally, Walking Dead's got 2,
Yeah.
3 seasons next in.
Yeah, so
something
I
else
think
will come out.
TV, whoever makes TV, like, have noticed like Netflix is winning in a lot.
Yeah,
of
but
places.
we've got more force. You can watch anything that's on Channel 4 at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
don't have
iPlay and stuff like that is their
Yeah.
compliant to that.
They're built into like the main channel, so they've kind of already started counter reacting it.
Yeah, but
To
they
some
need to set
extent.
up their game on like original content, or because what they have over Netflix, like example, is you get it weekly. You get that chat in between time.
Yeah,
They need to
and-
make shows that get people talking.
And accurate viewing figures as well, because I mean, not that viewing
Yeah.
figures really matter to us, but you know that the first episode of say Game of Thrones in a series
Yeah.
is not going to have as many viewers as the last one. Whereas it's probably fairly safe to say that the people viewing, say, House of Cards, the numbers probably don't change by the end of the series, but it's the same people watching it. Because there isn't
Overall,
that
yeah.
discussion. There aren't people hopping on board the
You're not telling
train.
people, oh, you should watch this. Yeah,
Because, yeah, exactly.
how many people who haven't seen Game of Thrones are going to start season 1 just to get to the last season? Like a lot of people wait until all the seasons are done and then just buy the box set. We know people that are just box sets buy
yeah.
it.
So whereas Netflix does that instantly for you.
I guess, but we do know that these box set people are robbing themselves, one, of the conversation, but two, they are constantly playing catch up,
Yeah.
which isn't fun.
Plus, it just makes no sense to buy box sets now, unless there's something which is not available any other way. Something is always either on Netflix, Amazon, previously Love Film, the TV catch-up services, and let's be honest, you can just blag it off the internet. People aren't stupid, they're going to do that.
Well, Game of Thrones is singularly the most pirated thing ever. Netflix doesn't have its Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is basically, almost unquestionably, the
Yeah.
biggest TV series ever. And I don't mean in terms of viewing figures, I mean in terms of the scale and the enormity and the
Yeah.
grandeur of
It's
it.
the Star Wars of telly,
Yeah,
essentially. Game of
it's Lord of the
Thrones,
Rings of telly. And so long as it doesn't have that, TV has something way over...
So do you think TV will survive by making things into an event?
Yeah,
So that they'll have their kind of their flagship,
yeah.
and that's what they rely on.
There's too
But
many companies
Isn't that
invested in
dangerous?
TV.
That's
Like,
also
yeah,
true.
that
it's
is-
never going to fall through.
But it's as the generations change, right? Let's say in 20 years, the people who hold all the power in the way, let's say 30, will be our age or maybe a bit younger who will have grown up with this model, so telly
Yeah.
will not be anything to them anymore. Whereas it's only, people are putting a head of a lot of faith in TV now at the top because that's their thing, that's what they grew up with. This Netflix and all, Spotify, all these various internet streaming services are relatively alien to them. So when we eventually get a new generation for which
Netflix has
this
always
model,
been.
is the accepted way of doing it, then telly might be in trouble.
I mean, Brian, once said, as soon as we can avoid something, we'll go back to it. People will choose to watch TV because now it really is a choice. Whereas there was a time, slightly before us, even in our time, where TV was the only way
All
to
you had,
watch
yeah.
something. And now we've got this other option, which isn't better, it's just different.
Unless TV focuses more on the realms of live stuff. You will never get, say,
The Oscars.
the cup final or the Oscars as it's happening on Netflix or anything like that. There's just an inherent delay. So stuff that you need to see straight away surely is the domain of telly. And if they can work that into their shows, so for example, they're doing a decent job with these talent shows because although they're shite, you have to watch them now because people want to vote, people want to call in, etc. And that's the strength of the telly. That is happening right now. But beyond that, kind of feels a bit bleak for me.
I've never seen an advert on the TV, not that there would be, for House of Cards or Orange is the New Black. I
Very rare.
Yeah, so you
I know
don't-
about-
yeah,
Very
so
rarely.
you get that trailer campaign for Game of Thrones. We're getting one in a minute for X-Files, and like these things are like, oh, okay, it's here, it's there, it's this week, that week, that week.
Whereas Netflix seems to rely on your cultural osmosis for someone
Yeah.
else to tell you about
So
it.
a lot of the time,
basically.
I don't know Netflix shows are on until I turn it on, and it's just
Okay, oh, what's that?
it's on
Yeah.
that list.
Yeah, every now
It's
and then
there.
they do the rounds on the YouTube adverts.
Or everyone follows various things on Facebook, Twitter, IGN, us as well,
Yeah.
guys. You wait for someone else's review, and then you go for Netflix.
And
You
then
go
you go
back
and
and
find
watch
it.
it. Whereas with the telly, you go, "Oh shit, that's coming up. I'll watch it now as it comes out."
Netflix is surviving basically without trailers. Like, only if you're really looking for them. And yet, people still watch them, and they are getting the numbers, man.
Yeah, it's like I didn't even know they were doing a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon 2. I was like, that's a Netflix original? I didn't even know about that.
No, I didn't know that.
That's
But
is it good?
it's just the point that
It's not out yet.
Netflix is causing a kind of oversaturation in a way that nothing is special. That'd be a big thing. Crash Tiger Hidden Dragon. Did it win an Oscar or something like
the
that?
original. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
original
there we go.
got
There's
Foreign
something
language film or
that
something?
already we have this expectation of quality. It's got to have a fan base or people who will be interested, and 3 of us have never heard of it.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe that's just because there's so much stuff coming on Netflix. Things are kind of slipping through.
For like the coming years, or the coming year, we literally have shed loads of stuff by them. We've got Marvel's Luke Cage, who was in Jessica Jones. We've got a series of unfortunate events featuring Dr. Horrible. We've got Marvel's Iron Fist.
What is Iron Fist?
I don't have a clue what
I'll
Iron Fist
hazard a
is.
guess. But yeah, carry on.
New Crouching Tiger, we got Marvel's Defenders.
Is
Defenders are getting their own
is that
series.
a different team? Is that the team that Jessica Jones is a part of?
Not a clue. Like
My
my novel,
Defenders
my
like
Marvel
the
knowledge
Avengers
is
on a budget. Like, what is the Defenders?
So we can't avenge you, but we can prevent it happening next time.
It's fine.
Oh, it's Captain Hindsight.
give you-
weird as well.
sorted. And we've got 2
He
Adam
is
Sandler
20
movies.
years old. What's that?
We've got 2 Adam Sandler movies that nobody really asked for, but they might be a good laugh. Or they might be terrible.
Well, wasn't The Ridiculous Six like ridiculously successful?
It was, and it was an okay movie.
He's such a tosser.
was
He's so
like-
happy with himself.
Have a gold star.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was successful, and it was kind of okay.
It was acceptably funny.
Yeah, a guy got his head knocked off with a shovel, and I just burst into tears of laughter, and I just
Harvey
went like,
Keitel.
no matter how bad this film was, bloody excellent.
Something that's sprung to mind as we've been talking about this, you know, we're looking at the trump cards that telly has over Netflix. Netflix can easily incorporate all these things into their own repertoire. So let's say you want to telly will survive by making stuff into an event. Netflix can do that.
Yeah,
just release
Why
it
aren't
for
they doing
week.
it?
if
then?
YouTube can live
They've got
stream.
3
Yeah.
billion to make new shows.
Exactly. Not to mention, let's not talk about just TV. Think about where we're sitting, the cinema. If Netflix has got its own fantastic original films and it's got a wide audience, who's to say filmmakers won't just go, oh, fuck it, we'll just release it on Netflix? Because you're going to inherently get
Can you-
a larger fan base from that, a larger viewership. Because a lot of people, for example,
But is that gonna
parents'
happen?
generation, can't be asked to go to the cinema. It's either too expensive or they don't think the films are good enough, they can't be bothered, people behave badly. Whereas if you can just watch that live as it comes out in your own home, why wouldn't you?
Couldn't possibly go that way, I think.
What do you
But,
reckon?
you know, films need to make money. They cost way more than the average TV series. I mean, The Revenant, for example, cost 130 million. There are filmmakers like, you know, Tarantino or Iñárritu or George Miller of Mad Max Fury Road who wouldn't. Because if Netflix is the casual home viewing, watch it on your iPad, whatever audience, do you think they'd want their films to be watched?
Yeah, that's what you see on a
iPad?
big
I mean,
screen.
it's a cinema film. There is still an audience for cinema, even if it. I mean, people are saying like piracy is killing the cinema. It's not. It just makes people more
shit
selective.
films.
It's
are
a
killing the
300
cinema.
rule. There's just certain films that can only be watched on the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
is
maybe
it
that's
going to be
alright.
fairly hipster to go to the cinema? I wouldn't mind that.
I think it's the old
because you
argument.
wouldn't get the chavs in the back ruining it for you.
Like, it doesn't matter if you have a massive TV and a good sound system. There's nothing quite like. I'm not trying to advertise going to the cinema, but there's nothing quite like the sound system around here and the biggest screen than you will ever have in your life right there. For the cinema going experience, surrounded by other people who are there for the same thing.
Particularly IMAX. I've seen 3 films in IMAX. Inception, Interstellar, and this latest
You
Star
saw
Wars.
Interstellar in IMAX?
I did. It was fantastic. But again, it just...
Good 3.
Yeah, I thought so. You really just feel like you are there. It's such a bloody cliche. But just imagine if they just made cinema into IMAX. Every single film like that. Just imagine how different it'd be.
It would push
Let's
people
say-
to be better at
and
filmmaking.
it would
I'd
also...
open up adaptations.
Yeah, well, that too. It would also make people so much more aware of stuff that felt they were there. Let's say you want to release a film, make it in the style of, say, Saving Private Ryan, make it really anti-war. In an IMAX, you're basically fucking there. You're shitting your pants along with Tom Hanks and whoever the hell else is there. It's so much
Vin
more
Diesel.
hard-hitting. I think that would be fantastic.
So bad.
Well, this is a point a friend of mine made who is writing our review for The Revenant, actually. He said,
Oh, yeah.
he said that The Revenant, first of all, absolutely needs to be seen at the cinema, but also that it's so consummately a film, like a cinema film. Like, not a glorified TV series like a lot of films are. Like, a proper film. Like, if we had to put 3 films in a time capsule and save it for future civilizations to say, this is what film going to the cinema is, it'd probably be The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and The Revenant, because...
Can we have something a little bit less boring in there as well?
And a mad world. But we have these things that are proper big, massive. They are an event, and they are a historic moment in...
It would be crap if you watch it on an iPad.
Exactly.
So it just would be.
I imagine, and maybe I'm being naive here, but I feel like if you're making a Netflix film, you've got to be like imagining, well, people just watching it on TV. You're thinking smaller,
which
means
you'll
never think
type of film.
Yeah, which I guess maybe isn't bad, but then why? How is a Netflix film not just a made-for-TV film? And made-for-TV films are considered a lesser art, basically.
Well, it's a budget thing. But if Netflix becomes this huge leviathan that it's already kind of snowballing into, then we could see that. But as you say, it's a type of film. It's a film that isn't as much as an event. So let's say, I don't think they would ever release something like Star Wars. You were speaking about Dirty Grandpa in our previous videos, or just general comedy films. I think the place for that is released on streaming, because you don't need to go to the bloody cinema to see that. So maybe the more kind of asinine or smaller type films.
Have you ever seen a comedy film and thought, man, I need to see that at the cinema? Like,
No.
that's never happened in our lifetime.
Apart from the shared experiences. Like, I saw The In-Betweeners 1, and it was a great experience, because everyone in there is a fan, everyone is pissing themselves laughing together, and I was watching it with a group of mates with whom I had gone through relatively comparable experiences, so that was really funny, which you would lose in the home, but that's quite a niche example.
The In-Betweeners would have thrived on Netflix, I think.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't require the weekly
Not to
discussion.
mention, it's that target audience. It's for
The
younger people who will just be more computer, internet-based.
Conclusively, or at least in conclusion, I personally think that Netflix won't take over TV, because, like I said, TV has the advantage of live stuff as well as proper events. What about you guys for final thoughts?
I agree, but TV will have to adapt to survive eventually.
But then that's just evolution.
TV needs to change.
Yeah.
There we have it.
Yeah.
Unanimous.
Okay.
So we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching.
See you next time.